We learned yesterday that the piece of chumash that has to be written is written on a piece of parchment, and it's similar to the writing of a Sefer Torah.
We were holding?
Over up on top.
So
the Gemara says on top, Kosva al shnei dafim psula. If he wrote it in 2 columns, instead of writing all on one straight.
It's on the same page, but in 2 columns.
Yeah. Why? Because Sefer Echad Am Rachmana below Shnayim is Sforim.
It's going to stay.
Then it says another thing. He has to write it up. So normally you write it up and then later you get to erase it. So he says, Kosav ois achas, umochak ois achas. Instead of writing the whole thing first and then later erasing it, every letter that he wrote it and he erased it. So psula is possible. Why? Because the ksib also Torah as kol Torah as ois. You have to make it a complete Torah. Now the Gemara asks the question. Boy, Rabbi asks the question. Kosa beis Megillas l'shtei soitas. He had 2 soitas. So he wrote two portions. One sefer wrote 2 portions for the 2 soitas. Umochak l'toich kais echad. And he erased it all into 1 cup. Mahu, what's the shaila? Do we say k'siva u'shmo be'inon v'ika? That you have to write it for her specifically? It was written for each sefer. Or dilma be'inon am mechika u'shmo. The mechika also has to be u'shmo. And if he wrote, it mixed up the erasures, so it's not u'shmo. The imtim Sulema. And if you would say bo'in and nami mechika u'shmo, it's necessary now that it should be erased for her. Is mocham bebeis kaisis v'hoda even mahu. What happens if he wrote for each separately and he erased for each one together, each one separately, and then later he mixed it all into 1 cup? What's the shaila? Mechika l'shmo b'hina v'ika. Do we need to have the mechika for her? It was when they erased it.
It was for her.
He erased each one for the specific satan. A dilma, or maybe ho lav didek or shasha, ho lav didek or shasha. He mixed it together. So who said that she's drinking hers? Could be that she's drinking the other ones.
Then it won't work. She's drinking both.
It's mixed, but it's not hers. And if you will say, Hol Avdidek or Shasher, Hol Avdidek or Shasher, that in such a case it's not good. Because we say that each one is not drinking hers. What's the din? Mahu. What happens? He wrote 2 separate ones. He erased each one separately into 1 cup. And then he got by a Sheva Brothers. He gave someone 1 cup and someone the other cup. So each one had her own cup, right? So the Shaila the Gemara says, Yesh Breida or Ein Breida. Do we say that Huvra Dovul Mafreya, that what this one drank was hers, and what this one drank is hers or not? So the Gemara take it, that remains a question. Now the Gemara is another question. Boy Rava, Hishka b'siv. If you gave it the drink with a sieve, I think I will touch that sieve means a sponge. In other words, let's say he put the water into a cup, then he put a sponge in there, and he gives her the sponge to suck out the water from the sponge. Oi, bishvei feres means a straw, like a tube, right? That's a tube, I mean, like a straw. Mahu, is this good or not? What's the shaila? Do we say that I should see it bekach, that this is considered a way of drinking? I do mean that I should see it bekach. It's not, the Torah says you should drink it, and that's not the way you drink it. It's more take it, but the shaila.
Today's people drink straw. You see, going to the ice cream store and drinking with straws. Today people drink with straws.
Yeah, they didn't write the book today, but.
Ist Hasima, das ist nicht gemenschen.
Not the Gemara.
Was ist ein Derech?
Boy, Rav Ashi.
Interesting that they had it in those days.
Rav Ashi asked the question. Nishmechu mehem, v'nishtayru mehem. Mao, what if she fills up a cup, and part of the cup spilled, and she drank the remainder? Do you have to drink the whole cup to complete everything or not? Again, says not take it. Now the Gemara says, Amar Rav Zayda, Amar Rav. Beis Shavuos Amudas B'Tayva. Lama. It says 2 times the Lashon Vishbiya Kayin Oisa. It says 2 times. So what's the idea of the 2 Shavuos? She says, Achas Kaid Mushinimcha Gamagila. Bi'achas Achas Shinimcha Gam. In other words, it's at 2 different times. In the beginning, when she comes, so he tells her the whole thing, and he tells her, he swears that, what's going to happen to you is so and so, and she still sticks to her grounds that she did nothing wrong. So they erase the Megillah, and then before he gives her the drink, again, he repeats the whole thing, what's going to happen to her, or shvur, what's going to happen to her. So the Gemara, you're saying that the 2 shvuos is because there's two different intervals, or 2 different times. So Rabbi asks a question. Tavayu kaidum shenimcha Megillah receiver. They're both written together before the Megillah was erased.
Both swears are done before.
Yeah. So what's the idea of the 2 shvuos? Ella Amar Rabbi says, Achas shvur sheyesh imo ola, v'achas shvur she'ein imo ola. There are 2 types of shvuos. One is a shvur with a curse, and one is a shvur without a curse. In fact, the Gemara, Heichi dam shvur sheyesh imo ola. Could you explain how it works, a shvur together with a curse? Omer Rav, he says as follows: Mashbeini alecho shaloinit mas. She'im nit mas yavoy boch. That I'm swearing, I'm making you swear that you didn't do anything, and that if you did something, so the water will have an effect on you. Omer Rav, Ola lechuda kaima, shvur lechuda kaima. The way you're describing it, the shvur has nothing to do with the curse. There's a shvur that loinit mas, and he's also telling her that if the mas, something happened, it has nothing to do with the shvur. El Amarava, it was a little bit different. Mashbi'eni alecha, I'm making you swear, she'im nit mas yavoy boch. So it seems like it's already more on what will happen. I'm making you swear that in the mas yavoy boch, that the Gemara Amar Rav Ashi Ola Ika Shvur Leka Sheim Nit Mas Yavoy boch. Those words have nothing to do with the shvur. So the curse is there, but there's no shvur. Finally, he says the following: Mashbeini alecha shaloin nit mas. Ve'im nit mas Yavayu Boch. Now, it's almost the same as before.
Yes.
But it goes together. V'imnit mas and if.
It doesn't make sense that the second shvuah is before she drank because
In the first one before, it's just and here it's only if, and here is and if. V'imnit mas means and if. There's a verb before the word. So
what is the purpose of the second shvuah? That she should admit it before she actually drinks it?
Yeah.
Before, in the beginning of the Gemara, when we talked about it, the first blot or two, says that once they erase it, she doesn't get a choice to back out. How could? Huh?
If she admits it, she can back out.
Yeah, but she.
If she admits,
But she could admit, but still she could admit before he drinks it.
What does it say over there?
She can't say, I don't want to drink.
Oh, she can't say once. That's what they forced her to drink. But if she admits, it's fine. No.
Yes, now in Pasuk state, "V'amar Isha Amen Amen" 2 times.
Right.
In fact, the Mishnah asks a question. Amehi Emeres Amen Amen. Why did she say 2 times Amen Amen? She says the Amen Amen on the Shua. Right? Now by Shua, there's a thing that's called Gilul Shua, a roll-on Shua. Well, Moshe, there's certain times that, let's say, you have an argument with somebody, and to get him, you don't have a basis to demand a shvua from him. But if you do have a basis to demand a shvua, you could also roll on another shvua together. So over here, the Mishnah is going to say that really the husband, what was Makana? What was the Makana? The Makana that don't hang out with Reuven. Okay? She hung out with Reuven. So becomes a question, a suspicion, did she do something wrong with Reuven or not? But there's nothing else that the husband is suspecting her or has any reason or any grounds to suspect her. So the Mishnah is saying now that once she swing that I didn't hang out with Reuben, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do this, it got nothing to do with it. No one ever suspected you. So we're saying that besides Gilgul Shvuah, we roll on other possibilities. So now let's look in the Mishnah.
When a person says Amen, Amen, it's not a good thing.
Goodness, so we want to know
the reason why.
So one Amahi Amez Amen Amen 2 times.
Right.
Amen means I'm accepting the Shvuah. So what is she accepting 2 times? So the Gemara as follows. Number 1, here's one shot. Amen Allah and Amen Allah Shvuah. We said before that there's 2 things. That there's a curse and there's a Shvuah. In other words, there's a shvuah that she didn't do anything wrong, and there's a curse that what will happen to her.
Right.
So she says, "I'm accepting both things. I did nothing wrong, and I'm accepting the curse."
Usually people don't say amen on a curse.
Huh?
Usually people don't say amen on a curse.
Amen over here doesn't mean Amen like that. Amen means to say it's true.
That's not instead of bracha. This means that she's accepting the shvuah.
Yeah. Like I agree.
Now the Mishnah says other things. Listen to this. Amen meish zeh, amen meish achar. What if he said, I want you to swear that not only did you not have any issue with Reuben, but you didn't have it with another man. Or amen, shalei sotiso arusa unesua b'shemeres yovan ukenuso. That means that it's not the same. It's all not the same person. Okay, one minute. The husband can make us swear that not only did she have an issue with Reuven, but she also before when you were Arusa, before we got married, but you were an Edison, you didn't have any issue with anybody, and Nesua. After we got married, you didn't have any issue with any other man. Now, what happens if, for Moshe, let's say, the husband died? A normal case. And they had no children. And he had a brother, and the brother married her. So she is considered, from the time that the husband dies till the brother marries her, she's considered what's called a shemeres yavim. And then later, once he married her, Kanusa, he took her in. So the second part of the mission is talking that if the brother, that there was no issue with the first husband. If she married the brother, and the brother took her in, and the brother has an issue, a suspicion about her, so he can make sure also swear that she didn't do anything wrong, or she was waiting to the evening, or when he took her in after he married her. Also, Omen Shaloinit Macy, the Omen Be'imnit Macy Yavayobik. This is like what we said before, that she's accepting the Shvur. Omen Shaloi Atama. In other words, I'm also swearing that I will never do anything wrong in the future. What's the shot? I will never do anything wrong in the future. That if Moshe I'll have an event with someone, with Shimon, so then you wouldn't have to bring me to do the whole procedure again, but the water already will have an effect on me then. So the Mishnah, Hakol Shovim, everybody agrees, She'ein Masna Imo, he can't, even though we're saying that he could pile on onto the shvur, but he can't pile on loyal kodim she tesares. He says to her, he can't say to her, told me that when you were a single girl that you didn't have any relation. What's your business? It's not negated to you.
You had no connection to her.
Things that could have a shiloh for him is one thing. That can have if when Moshe say the din is that if a person divorces his wife, so and then later she remarries, so he's not the husband is not allowed to remarry her. But if she had relation, let's say when she was divorced, and then later he remarries her, he could remarry her.
So he's not married.
So B'meila, so it would not affect him if after the divorce she had relation with somebody. It wouldn't affect him. If it was before she married someone else, or before he remarried her. So the Gemara is saying that Hakol Shovim, everybody agrees, She'ein Masna Imo Loya Kodim Shetesaris, when she was single, V'loya Achar Shetes, and not after they get divorced.
Because both of those times he has no shachris to
It's
her.
a period that if she has relation, it doesn't affect him halachically. V is Nistro Le'acha Vinit Mas. V is if she was in seclusion with somebody and she became Tameh. Ve'achakach Hirzira, and then he took her back, the way I explained just now. Lo haya masna ima. He can't for that period of when she was a divorcee, he can't want her. Zehakal, kol shati bo, wherever she will have relationship, it would not cause an issa to him. He couldn't make a condition.
But when it comes to Kedusha, maybe she comes less. She comes less to Kedusha. Psula is 200 and
We're talking about issa, we're not talking about money. Something more. Amar Rav Hamnuna, Shemeres Yover Shezinso. A lady that her husband died, and she's getting married to the brother, so she's called a Shemeres Yover. So if she was Mazana during that time that she was waiting to get married to her brother, Asura Yabma, he's not allowed to be Miyabma. So the Gemara, Minai, how do we notice? Midik Tony Bini, that says in the Mishnah, Shemeres Yabma Ukunuso, is Iyam V'Shleim Asira. If you say that she's also during that time, Mishum Hachi Masna V'Ado, because then the Yavim doesn't have to marry her. El Iyam V'Lei Asira, Hechi Masna V'Ado. But now we learn Ze'akha Kol She'ilu Tibol V'Lei Tehei Asura Lei Hoya Masna Imo. If it doesn't affect any issue to him, so is that ayah that
You should be able to marry her.
if she while she's a Shemeres Yavim, there is a issa, and that's why according to the Mishnah Chayra, he could warn her on that period. So the Gemara, Omri b'Marova, they said in Eretz Yisrael, Les Hilchasok Rav Hamnuna. The halacha does not agree with Rav Hamnuna. Elo Hodik Toni Shemeres Yavim Ukunusa. Hamani Rebbe Kiva, that's only according to Rebbe Kiva. The Oma, he says, Ein Kedushin Taisin B'chai V'Lavin Umashu like Ke'eva. Taisin said, in the din of Arayas, there's two kinds of Arayas. There's one Arayas that's the Issa Krisis, and if you're over on that Issa Krisis, you're not allowed to get married, and the child is a mamza. And then was only a Issa Lav. There is a pasuk that says by a Yavoma said "L'siya Esha Mesa Chutz Lishor," so it's a love. So Rebbe Kiva holds that kedusha and Atayv is also by Chayv Lavna. So according to Rebbe Kiva, he could warn her on that period because it affects him, because kedusha and Atayv is by Chayv Lavna. But we don't pasuk like Rebbe Kiva. We pasuk only by Chayv Krisis. So b'mega so. The period of Shemeres Yavim, you can't warn her. So the Gemara, boy, Rav Yemi asked the question. Ma'ashi yisna Adam anisuyin harishainim. In other words, if the lady was married to Reuben, now she's getting married to Shimon of Yibam. Could Shimon say to her, I want you to swear that when you were by Reuben, you weren't, so you say, what difference does it make to him? It makes a big difference. Because if she was Mazana when she was with Reuben, then he doesn't have to give her Yibam.
Right.
So it means that he married her once and he divorced her, now he's marrying her again. Same woman he's marrying again.
No, and Nisuin Ishayna, I'm sorry. Nisuin Ishayna means when a person was married to a woman and then he divorced her and then he remarried her. So he wants to say that when we were married the first time, you also didn't have, that's the, and then there's on Nisuin Achav. Nisuin Achav is the example that I gave where the brother died, and that you didn't have any relation then. So the Gemara.
What's the problem if she gets married to another man and then they divorce?
No. Either he's asking when you were married with me before.
The first time around.
The first time, or when you were married to my brother before you come to me for Eden.
Because she was usher to someone else.
No, then she'd be usher to him also. When she was Mazana, when she was married to his brother, then he doesn't have to give her Yibam.
Yeah, because he had to break the relationship before. Wouldn't reach this point now that it would become responsible to marry her.
That the Gemara Toshma, I'll solve your question. We learned in the Mishnah, Ze'akal, Kol Shati Bo, V'leitais asuraloi, any time when she'll have a relation, and it wouldn't affect an issa to him, v'hoya masa imo. But her asira, if when she did have at that time that you're talking about, it would affect him, so then, hochinami the master, so shmami no. So if Moshe, let's say, he's saying, well, we were married the first time, did you have any relation? It makes a big difference, because if you had any relation then, I shouldn't marry you a second time. Zot the Gemara, Rameya Omer, Omen Shloinet Mas. So it sounds like a repeat. It seems extra words in the Mishnah. So the Gemara Tanya, Loike Shom Rameya Omen Shloinet Atama, Sheim Tatama, Mayim Beit Genoisum Achshov, El Rikashati Tama, Mayim Ma'arin Oiso, Ubeit Genoisum. In other words, this that he said, that it will also help for the future, does not mean right now she didn't do anything. So it's not a psanavua. It means that when in the future she will do something wrong, at that time
This
it will
water that
affect
you're
her.
drinking today is going to affect you then.
Zot the Gemara, boy, Rav Ashi asked the question. Mao she is na oslam anisuyin ha'achreinim. In other words, could he also say to her that if we're going to get married again, and if you will do something wrong, so it will affect you? Could he say such a thing? Something Gemara, Hashtamiyah, lo yasiralei. Should we say, right now doesn't matter, you're getting remarried, what did I start up? Adilma, Zimma and the Megarishla, sometimes you get divorced, Vahada Mahadala, and sometimes your mouth's the Grushosai, so there is a possibility. So could he include that in the Gilgul Shur? So the more Toshma, that Hakal Shovim, everyone agrees, Shahai Masim, Loya Koid Mashet Asaris, V'loya Achish Garish. But Nistero Le'acha B'nit Maas, V'akach Yachzireno, Loya Masna. Ho Yachzireno, V'titome, Hochinami the Masna. That means that they said, if we want, he can't say that if you'll have a relation while we're separated, while we're divorced, because it's nothing wrong. But he could say that if we remarry, because if you remarry, then it will be a shayla. So you see that he could even make a tanai and say that the water should have an effect in case we remarry and you will then have relation.
So once she drinks this water, it's in her system forever. If if something goes wrong somewhere later on, it's going to affect you then. That's basically the question.
That's part of the Gilgul Shvur.
Yeah.
Zot the Gemara, Tan Rabbanu. There's a passage that says, Zois Teiras Hakanois. Now Hakanois is a Lashon Rabbim. So the Malamed teaches us, Sha'isa Shaisa V'Shoina, that you, even let's say you suspected the wife, and she went through the whole procedure, and then later you suspect her again, you can again put her through the whole procedure. Rabbi Yehuda says, Zois, this means to say, She'ena Isha Shaina Shaisa Shaina, that you can't put a wife 2 times through the whole procedure. So I think
Well, what we just said before, because technically, if it would be a problem, it would affect her now.
It's the same husband and everything.
Yeah.
We'll still see about that. So the Gemara, Amr Rabbi Yehuda, Maisa, there was once a issue. V'heyedu v'neinu Nechunya Sefer Sichen, Nechunya, who was the digger of wells for the Oiler Golem to have water to drink. So he said, witnessed that there was a case where Sha'isa Shaisa V'Shaina. He said, I was present at such a case. However, B'kibalnu Edusay, we accepted his testimony, B'shnei Anoshim, with 2 separate men. In other words, if there's two marriages, she was married to Reuben, and she's married to Shimon, and Reuben suspects her, and Shimon suspects him, then it could be Avo Loi B'ish Echad, but not the same husband can't put a second time through the procedure. But the Chacham say, Eino ish l'shoyse b'shoyse, bein b'ish echad, bein b'beis anoshim. No, there's never such a thing as
she would drink again.
As drinking again. In fact, the Gemara, V'tana kama nami hoksiv zois, shei zois means only this. So how come they hold that they accepted his testimony? And v'rabbana basroi nami hoksiv titus, which means it's possibly even more than one time. Something was like, it depends. Amar Rabbi said, if Reuven suspects her of having a relation with Shimon 2 times, if it was proven the first time that it's false, you can't come back with the same story again. Why? Because the Ksiv Zois, the Shay Zois. And Bishnei Anoshim Shnei Boilim, if she was married 2 times to 2 different men, and the 2 different men suspect her about a different man, is the Kul Alma Leprigi, the Isha Shaisa V'Shaina. Everyone will agree that you could go through the procedure again because the Ksiv Titus, Ki Prigi, one is the Machakis between the Rabbanim with the Yehuda, the Ish Echad Ushnei Ba'ilim, by Moshe, she's only married to Reuven, but one time Reuven suspects her with Shimon, and one time with Levi. It's a different story. Or B'shnei Anoshim U'Bayil Echad. That means Reuven suspected her with Shimon, and Levi, who married her, also suspects her with Shimon. So here's where there's the Machokis. Tanakama holds Titus. L'Rabba is cool that all these cases you have to drink, and Zois, and the word Zois, which limits, is Amud Ish Echad U'Bayil Echad. Rabbanan Basroi sovereign, and the Rabbanan hold that Zois is Lamut Ekulu, that there's no second drinking. And Titus Ubuye Shnei Anoshim Ushnei Bayalim. That's where they disagree. Rabbi Yehuda holds Zois Lamihutei Tauti, and Torah L'Rabba's Tauti. Zois Lamutei Tauti, what's the Tauti? Ish Echad U'Bayil Echad, and Ish Echad U'Shnei Bayalim. And Titus L'Rabuya Tauti, what's the Tauti? Shnei Bayalim U'Bayil Echad, or Shnei Anoshim U'Shnei Bayalim. Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to give me something to drink?